Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe this should just be a Doge stream. Welcome back, everybody, to Mr. Hooper's Imaginarium. This is Inherited Earth today. No Morkborg. We're sticking with the campaign, at least for a little while. Expect us to mix it up occasionally. Let's see here. Let's get our recaps from our Mofreesboro Monster Marshals. And let's start with Noah today.
All right. So, yeah, we've been hanging in Mofreesboro for a few months.
Theodore.
Yes, that's the town's name. I forgot.
Left
Yes, we've been hanging in
Freesboro.
Theodore for a while now. In the last game, we met a new goblin friend and ran into some old goblin friends who apparently got really messed up by a weird mana storm of some sort. We're not entirely sure exactly what it is, but it hurt them pretty bad. Apparently, there's a gigantic bird out there that everyone wants to ride. And yeah, that's the basics of where we're at. Anybody else want to add in some details?
There was a fucking awesome bird, and a goblin jumped on its back, and it was really cool, but then it hurt a lot of people.
Not just any goblin, but Wilf.
Yeah.
Wilf rode that giant bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noodles rolled into town, except not literally, because their car was stolen. Noodles begrudgingly walked into town, upon which she heard these monster marshals are usually a little bit of a good deed doers. And after some fuckery, she managed to track them down and made her pitch about, dude, where's my car? And just when they were deciding whether or not to help her, the goblins came into view, badly limping. And up with her giving her amazing sermon about the big boom, just totally off the cuff, which explains why it rambled a bit.
Very natural.
Yeah, and sadly, very, very fiery sermon, with sadly zero actual fire. Oh wait, there were sparklers. There were
definitely sparklers.
And then she and all the goblins went back to the tavern and celebrated a bit until they passed out.
I believe your objective was specifically to get their
panache.
Their panache back, which
Yeah.
is very important because
Yes, it's coming up in the new Goblin children's book.
Yeah.
The Gobo who lost their panache.
Very tragic story. I will say that in addition to what you all said, that more than just goblins, our old friend Torbund, Meow, Catman, came. His arm was broken. Very tragic. Stax was there. And then at the end of all of this, as the party was winding down, Noah and I went down to went down to have a drink on the hill. The hippopotamus hill, and ended up having a drink with the Sister Superior, who was having a drink of her own at the time. And that, I believe, is where we checked it.
All right. That is all accurate. There you go, Junior Marshals. It's fairly early in the evening. Well, not early in the evening. Late in the evening, early at night. But the stars are out. The skies cleared a little bit, though it was overcast during the day. And though you can definitely see more storm clouds kind of rolling in slowly on the horizon there. You can see where it's definitely headed your way. This does not look like some sort of horrific monster storm. This just looks like a normal rainy fall, hot, rainy fall storm. in the post-apocalypse. And Sister Gracia she's wearing her habit, but the rest of her clothing is very casual, in comparison to what you two are used to seeing her in previously, which was kind of a real up close to an actual nun's outfit, uniform.
And unless I'm mistaken, just for Noodles' benefit, Sister Gracia is like 19.
Yeah.
She's very young for being in this position of power.
I mean, for an outfit, that's middle age.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, actually. Good point. Maybe useful later, actually. And her words to you at the end of last session were back at it, huh? Question mark. And that's where we pick up.
I mean, yeah, looks like we got to get back out in the world and do some more of that marshaling.
Well, I guess that is the path you've chosen, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And she has her own glass of she has a glass of wine, no wine bottle around. So this is the one glass she's having, and there's 2 actual liquor bottles there, unopened. So she's in moderation, but she's got this gift for you. I'm trying to figure out if Kaylee's actually asleep or if that's Noodles in character. But she nods, gestures towards the drink, indicating, feel free. Well, I do apologize for not accompanying you and your friends when you went to save these people, and not sending, being reluctant to send any of my own to help. Maisie and Sylvine told me you were impressive, though some of their memories of the events were kind of hazy.
Yeah, I thought that was like the blood rage or whatever I was experiencing. But if everybody was hazy, there might be something weird going on.
Well, we were in a mine. There could have been some natural gas or something that escaped.
Yeah.
We did use
probably
a decent amount of explosives.
That's also true.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. Grabs one of the bottles.
Well, Ted, who owns the mine,
Ted,
he might be able to help you piece together what happened, since it happened right there where he lives, basically, or might just need a heads up that there's some sort of gas leak. You might want to go see him in the morning. He's probably turned in for the night. He's not young and spry like us.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. Is he lives at the mine, so we got to go all the way back up to the mine?
Yeah, he lives at the mine.
We got like a trip to make tomorrow. It might take too long. We'll lose half our day going up to the mine.
It's 15 minutes. You should be able to hitch a ride out there, and it's on the way.
Yeah.
I hate chores, bro.
Well, if you're comfortable with missing that little bit of information, that's fine. I'm not telling you. I'm not in charge of you. I'm not really in charge of much anymore. It's kind of nice.
Hmm.
Wait,
She takes a drink of her wine.
you're still the Sister Superior, though, right?
Yeah, but once a band settles down where they're going to be, it's my job becomes bookkeeping. I'm like a school principal now.
Whoa. Catch me talking in class, I guess.
Oh, well, I'm a lot more laid back when I do my job than you might think. Maisie and Celine will be moving on sometime soon. They'll go find some place to set up, and one of them will become a sister superior there, and start up a whole new convent's such a weird word. School. And the world carries on. It'll just be me and Hannah and the kids and the town.
Wow.
Man, sounds kind of nice.
It is. I think it is. Well, she stands up from a folding chair that she's brought with her, folds that up, tips her glass. I'm going to turn in for the night. Maybe do some reading. She
Right on.
trots off back, well, doesn't trot, strolls off back down to town.
Bye.
Oh, she's not a centaur. Cool.
No.
I would have been very confused.
Yeah, I didn't explain that last time. Part of the reason she stayed on the bus is very difficult.
It's hard to get
on
in
and
and out.
off
Yeah.
the bus.
Once you're on, you might as well stay.
Yeah.
You need to have a
once
whole
you're
ramp
off,
set up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds like she wants. Sounds like we should probably talk to Ted, though. What do you think?
Yeah, tomorrow before we leave.
Or we
Well,
could go
I
wake
guess
him up.
as we leave. Well, I don't know if that's the best idea. He is kind of an old guy.
Yeah, he's old. All right. Well, should we see if Noodles has burned anything down yet?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I don't think we should generally leave her unattended that much.
Yeah. Let's.
Seems like, yeah.
Let's see if we can see what's happening. And man, I'm starving. I'm gonna see if I can get something to eat.
All right, Noodles. Yes. Mid nap, mid sleep.
She is suddenly holding. If you wake her up, she is suddenly holding a grenade.
You've been
Whoa.
you've been disturbed awake just as they enter by the bar skink, which is wandering around, nibbling on sausages and crackers.
Noodles, Noodles, you in here?
Hey. Yeah, just dealing with this. Wait a minute.
And it turns and looks at you with a nice square cracker in its mouth. Eye contact. Mexican standoff.
I am going to try.
This is like a 18 and a half, like an 18-inch long lizard that with pants that moves on all fours. It's a skink. It's a bar skink.
My cracker.
It gets up on its hind legs, kind of come at me, bros, and then scuttles off at the speed of lizard. You two see this go down.
She is strongly considering throwing the grenade. And she looks around at the sleeping goblins and shoves it back in her pocket.
There are, like 40 goblins packed into this kind of mid-sized pub, saloon bar. Todd is, of course, behind the bar, leaned up against the bar back, watching you. He's paused in his glass cleaning. It's only like 9:30, so I mean, it would be normal bar hours, except for the fact that the place has been, bum rushed by goblins who are now napping. He's paused in his just eyes between you, grenade in your hand, grenade, you, Lou and Noah, you, grenade. Not saying anything, just kind of.
What's up, Todd? You pour me one?
Don't like being woken up.
Kind of doing everything he can, not to take his eyes off of Noodles there. He turns around. What do you want?
Oh, whatever you got in your hand there is fine.
He grabs something clear, pours it, neat, slides it down the bar towards you. Still.
This is water, Todd.
You could see him squeeze the bottle. Oh, set to the side. Whiskey this time. Slides it.
This is iced tea, Todd. No, I'm just kidding. It's whiskey. Got you though, man.
Want my cracker back.
What was that?
Stupid lizard took my cracker.
You can hear the lizard laughing from a corner.
Come at me!
Very
the knife.
Wacky Races dog.
The
laugh.
knife is out.
Noodles. There's lots of crackers, man. It's cool.
But that one was mine.
Possession is only like 9/10 of the Todd.
What's that? Here. And Todd just wings a pack of crackers at you.
She sits cross-legged on the table.
Having to scoot a goblin or two aside.
Well, I assume I'm in the place where I was currently sleeping and sleep fighting.
Yeah. So we gotta get your car tomorrow. That's our goal. We gotta get you your car back.
I'd really appreciate it. It'd be a lot of help, especially like, look, I gave a speech, but that's gonna wear off, and then these guys won't think I'm cool.
They'll probably still think you're cool. They think we're cool, and we're not very cool.
Well, you need to be less cool because you see, it's kind of like you take the meter that's not filled up with cool and you fill it up with tall.
Oh, they like that. Okay, cool.
You make good mobile viewing platforms.
Fair enough. Well, if it's all right with you, we may need to make a brief stop on our way to towards your car to talk to this dude Ted about some stuff.
Who's Ted?
Oh, Ted's dope.
Yeah, he's really cool. He's the guy the town's named after, actually.
Yeah, we're in Ted, but we're not in Ted.
And you hear Todd chuckling from the kitchen.
I'm not questioning your relationship status.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I mean, Ted's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, he's a bit old for me, but settling down might not be the worst idea in the world.
So
Yeah,
are you two together?
Not yet.
So.
Todd's head is poking out of the kitchen.
No, that hasn't occurred. As far as I can tell.
No, not yet.
I mean, that goblin party was pretty wild. I don't know.
It was, yeah.
But I don't remember anything like that. I was still dressed.
No.
All right. So we have to make a stop, but we will go to where I last saw my car, right?
That's objective 1.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Would you like a cracker?
Oh, dope. Yeah.
What
Okay,
more
sure.
like?
Okay, so do y'all have any business before we do the Final Fantasy dissolve?
No,
Unless there's a late night weapons manufacturer open at this point in TED.
Oh my
late
God,
night.
is there one?
No. So I'll go ahead and say no.
Now I'm disappointed.
Okay. And now it's morning time.
It's morning time.
You do not hear a cockatrice crowing or a chicken. You'd be more likely to hear a cockatrice than a chicken. It's just the general, town activity. The town has become significantly less sleepy than it was the first night that you stayed here a month ago or a month and a half ago, since half or more than half of the town's population was missing at that time. It's kind of a bustling little town, a lot of foot traffic down those roads. It's built for foot traffic. It's the town of tomorrow. Now let's see here. Where Noodles, I'm assuming you found exactly the same spot you were sleeping in the bar.
Back
Okay.
on top of the table. When Noodles wakes up, the first thing she's gonna do is look for that bar slink.
Bar skink. All right. Well, let's see here. Go ahead and give me a search test then and investigate.
Okie dokie. $60.20 to use. That is, yeah, that's a 4.
Okay. You find no skink. The skink has returned to itself. Does Noodles frequent drinking establishments generally? Tall folk drinking
Or
establishments.
not frequent, but she'll usually pull up to one when she's in a new town, see if there's anyone interested in learning of the boom.
The good word. Okay, so Noodles would then know that the bar skink is traditional in tall folk bars. They police up crumbs, peanut shells, cockroaches, awakened cockroaches, and mundane and other small lizards, rats that don't talk, that sort of thing. Also, they make for good bouncers, believe it or not.
I still don't like this one.
Nothing says get out of this establishment like a 15-pound reptile hissing at you that you're not really sure. You know that it's not supposed to be on this continent. You don't know if it's poisonous or not. So
Only one way to find out.
And they're kind of like bodega cats in that way. All right, so first orders of business, everybody. Oh, and where were Lou and Noah respectively spending the night?
Lou's been staying in a spare room at Hannah's house.
Okay.
For the past month or so. Pretty sparse. Clothes are just a mess everywhere, and he's kind of, first thing he does when he's waking up, he's just like shoving the 5 days worth of clothes he has into a bag, and like the Molotov cocktails, etc. Just zips it up, tosses it over his shoulder, and heads downstairs for breakfast.
What's the cleanliness situation on those clothes? When's the last time?
Not good.
Not good? Okay.
I mean, they've had time to air because he's been wearing the clothes he's wearing currently for a week or so. So those ones have had time to like dry and kind of get some freshness.
There are options to launder clothes in this town. everybody isn't walking around stank, but if,
We're leaving town. There's no time to do it now. I've waited too long.
all right. And so yeah, breakfast is Hannah's mom and dad are down there. Dad's making breakfast already as usual. Hella bacon, many eggs. That may be they might have. Well, you should have heard a rooster, but probably just tired. Whatever.
I give it a pretty brief moment, but only enough to like normally I would just like grab 3 handfuls of shit and go skating out the door. But this time I'm like, oh hey, might be taking off. If not, I'll see you tonight, and I head out the door.
Hannah's dad, Mr. Hannah. Anyway, in his apron. All right, be careful. Goes back to what he's doing. You've discovered that the man, he carries a true dichotomy of character there. He's, the kind of gruff, oily, mechanic and man's man, and like I said, a square with a crew cut, real front-facing Facebook video kind of looking guy, but then a real sensitive, meticulous housekeeper and cook, and very domestic. Mrs. Hannah's mom. I gave these people names. I don't feel like flipping through.
Hedda, that's.
Yeah.
If I ever find my notes again, I'll let you know. She's almost more the dad in the study with his pipe type. Spends a lot of time in her office. She's a nice lady, very very compassionate and helpful, but she's got that kind of distracted work always on her mind type of thing going on. But she's been very busy lately as well, especially since yesterday with all those goblins and whatnot showing up. And then for the last month, making sure, that everybody in town is healthy. There are more medical staff around, but Noah and Hannah's mother really represent the kind of cream of the crop in terms of medical minds and practitioners. She does have a few students, that she's teaching, but. And yeah, so you jet out the door, Noah.
I would have been staying at someone's house on their couch or spare room or whatever. But after taking all my clothes, which have been folded and meticulously hung, and packing them carefully, I will actually head down to Hannah's parents' house, because I do need to inform them that I will probably be leaving and make arrangements and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to head down to Hannah's parents' house.
Okay. Noodles, you, just because of the geography of this town, see Noah walking by the saloon.
All right. Gonna do her best to. Hey, listen.
Hey.
Hi. Are we getting going?
Pretty soon, yeah. I'm gonna go get Lou and say my goodbyes around town a bit, and then yeah, we're gonna be going.
All right. She's just chewing on some licorice. You don't know where she got it.
Could have belonged to another goblin. Community property. And so you follow along with Noah? Is that what's going on?
I'm just gonna following along, eating my licorice.
All right. Well, along the way, Noah and Noodles, you run into a few townsfolk. And, being that, Noah, you made yourself familiar with a lot of them, as kind of their interim doctor. A couple of them asked, what you're up to, where you're headed with your luggage, basically.
Yeah, and I'll basically give them the whole, well, I think it's might be time to be getting out of town. We got to go see what messed up our goblin friends, and life on the road is my calling. Can't settle down for too long. Basically making up more crap the more I tell the story, because telling multiple people the same thing more than twice drives me insane.
In his wake, she will Noodles will start trying to pass out religious pamphlets.
Mainly, people just kind of look at it dumbfounded.
It's mostly just a picture of a grenade.
Yeah, and people are. One guy, was that a threat? You hear from about 50 feet back. And then it's it's a pretty quick trip to Hannah's house. You'll probably actually meet in the street.
No, actually, as you arrive to Hannah's house, at like where that intersection is, you see down the road headed towards the hill where we were drinking the night before. I'm already like skating that direction, but I'm not very far. I'm only like 50 feet or so. Like I've just left.
Hey,
Are you gonna attempt? No.
And I just like I make it like a speed stop, and I oh shit. Yo, ready?
Where are you going?
Oh, I thought we're man, I don't know. Shit. I
like
no, we should talk about it. And I come back and I start kicking back up the hill a little bit, just like trying to get there. So,
Hey.
So
Yeah, I was just
wait.
going to talk real quick and tell them that we're leaving. Did you?
Oh, they know. I told them.
Still, I think it's probably best I do it. But yeah. Wait, okay. I'm going to continue into the house.
And
knock on the door of the house. Yeah.
Like, Noodles, check this out. And so we're out on the sidewalk, and I do a kickflip.
So you're the smart one and he's the pretty one, or is that the other way around? I don't know with humans.
Well, Lou just failed, it looked like, it performing a kickflip.
Critical fail.
Critical fail. So Lou falls down, and the kids that are playing in the yard on their early recess, of course, stop and all laugh. One teenager says, "Come on, that's weak. Do a kickflip."
I tried. It was hard.
Try harder, old man.
You see, this is why I normally keep a smoke bomb on me.
Oh, great idea. Smoke signal out of my bag, and I huff it over to them.
No, it was supposed to go around us to hide us.
Well, now there's a big plume of smoke roiling out of the playground, so it's fine. And I'm down one smoke bomb.
It basically bounces once, rolls, and before it even comes to a stop, and there's preliminary lower plume coming out of there. Hannah rushes over, picks it up, and throws it even further. Like it goes like a block over.
You got a good arm. Would you be interested in joining the church in the Big Boom?
Oh, honey, I've already made plenty of big booms. I'm settled down here myself just to live a quiet life. As a matter of fact, you're standing in front of my house. Who are you? We met, didn't we? What was your name again?
I'm Noodles. Noodles F. Bean. Nice to meet you.
And she reaches down with her. She's very nice. This is black fingernails. And you see the stretch of tattoos on her arm, of course.
Once again, Noodles is just like,
and gives you the two-handed handshake. Well, honey, you can go in the house as long as you both promise not to blow up my childhood home. I thought I wouldn't have to have this conversation with Lou, but
the rule of the Big Boom is that sometimes you gotta blow stuff up to make room for something new. But this doesn't. But that's bad stuff.
Yeah. I also have a few rules of Big Boom, so let's just go ahead and follow those, and everything should be just fine.
I'm not.
Oh, I heard y'all were rolling out
right?
too. Sister Superior told me that y'all were headed out. I actually arranged a ride for you. I heard you were a little concerned about your timeline.
Gotta get my car.
Yeah, we figured once we got Noodles' car, we'd be all right on the time. But like we gotta, yeah, I guess we're.
Well, only I can really fit in my car.
Oh, dang, that is not what I was hoping for.
Yeah, you could. It's about the size of, I guess,
Oversized beach ball is really what you're looking at.
yeah.
These guys.
Yeah, she was just looking around for something to compare it to and not seeing anything.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
oh,
Hannah,
yeah, well, thanks, Hannah.
yeah, and she's like, okay, well, anyway, my friend Meg will be able to take you at least as far as Ted's, as the mine.
Oh,
She can either drop you off or take you where you need to go. She's got a nice little pickup truck.
Cool. There's still some abandoned vehicles up there left over from, the assholes.
I don't know. We've repurposed most of those, and most of the town people have claimed the ones. Dad used some of the parts to fix up your friend's car before she left. And, I mean, whatever's there is still there, I guess. I haven't been down in a while.
Well,
Actually,
if they disagree about returning my car,
well, aren't you going to take it?
oh yeah,
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 so
we're gonna take it.
it might not be quiet.
fair enough.
No, probably won't.
I imagine that you all will probably find a way to make do once you get where you're going. What little I know of these two says y'all will probably be resourceful enough.
You got no idea, sweetheart.
And she does that kind of mom or teacher thing, dad too, of just knowing some mischief is going on and the nature of it, and just, hey, don't eat that, and runs off around the side of the house.
Really cute, but a bit patronizing.
Yeah, it's so hot.
Okay, so, and Noah, you were going to talk to Hannah's folks.
Yes.
All right. Did you actually want to go through that scene, or?
Yeah, we can do that. Yep. So they're just settled in at the breakfast table.
Yeah. And Walter left weeks ago just to refresh that. He wasn't necessarily closely associated with the family, more just with the town, and was helping the family and the town. So it is just Hannah's folks there at the breakfast table. Hannah's mom would be, reading a newspaper with, leaned back with one leg kicked over, if there were such a thing as newspapers this far out in the after the apocalypse. And yeah, they're both just kind of chilling, chit-chatting. Oh, hey, Noah, Mr. McCann,
Hi.
how you doing?
Hi. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. I wanted to come and talk to you. I don't know what Lou said, but I'm assuming he didn't actually do a good job of it.
Y'all are leaving and might be back.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure what exactly we're going out for, but we know that we're going to be chasing some mana storms of some kind. Seems like a terrible idea, but that's some of our best times have started with terrible ideas. So it's worked so far. I just wanted to thank you for everything you've done for us and taking us in and really making us feel welcome. And we appreciate all that. And I hope that you'll be able to take care of the town well enough without me.
Now, Mr. Hannah is for a second you think he's turning red with middle-aged white man rage, but then realize that he's blushing and maybe even holding back a little bit, misty-eyed there. He's very proud of having been so helpful. Mrs. Hannah's mom is, when you mention the the man store, kind of, she looks up from her 60-year-old, paperback novel that she's reading and really kind of tunes in. Huh. Well, I wish you well. Be careful. And if you're chasing a ether storm, I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one.
Definitely be careful. But if you happen to come across anything that doesn't immediately try to kill you or is no longer capable of trying to kill anybody, I wouldn't mind maybe a little documentation of what you see. Professional courtesy.
Yeah.
Snap on those old gloves and crack them open.
That can definitely be done.
Yeah, if you end up coming back around here, I'd appreciate, seeing some findings. But you don't have to pay us back for anything. We appreciate what you did here.
Well, it's just part of the job, and I point to the martial tattoo.
Okay. And she kind of chuckles, that mom tone of, oh, isn't that special? That kind of like, of course you are. And she puts her book down and stands up and gives you a hug, which might be surprising considering her usual kind of business demeanor. Mr. Hannah's dad gets up and then gives both of you a hug.
Noodles just kind of stands there awkwardly.
All right, yeah, and then I'm gonna, say bye and rejoin the rest of the group, throwing smoke bombs and failing the skateboard.
Okay.
You got it that time.
All right, sick.
That was
Unfortunately, they just missed it as they were walking out the door. You had just landed it.
Did you see it? Come on!
All right. And so a phone call must have been made or something, because a pickup comes along, and it's loud, but not on purpose. This is definitely, multiple times restored, and it's the ship of Theseus. How much of this truck was there when it came off the assembly line. But it's running, and it doesn't sound like it's dying. It's in better shape definitely than the Goblins' vehicles for the most part. And there's a kind of this is early 30s, late 20s, young woman at the wheel. She's got, actually, there's a fella next to her in the front. He looks tough. You're kind of wondering where this guy was when the mercenaries and gatekeepers showed up in town. Like, this guy looks like a badass. Grizzled, kind of stubble and close cropped hair. A little bit of a droop to one of the eyelids, like, more likely a wound or scar than anything else. But she looks fairly casual, kind of just an easy, almost grace to how she pulls up and parks. Loops that cul-de-sac, and she gets out. He stays in the car smoking a cigarette. She gets out, walks directly over to Noodles, cops a knee, and so I heard you needed help finding your ride.
Yeah. These fine fellas here are gonna help me. But we gotta go to the last place I saw it. There's all the guys in the leather jackets.
Ah, yeah. Well, we had plenty of those guys until just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, these
But
ones are-
first, we need to take these two. We need to escort these three big, strong men to see Uncle Ted, right?
that's what they said something about that.
3.
They said they were in him. I don't know what's up with that.
Oh well, I guess Timor is not really going to be talking to Ted, but these two big, strong fellas, right?
I mean, we got some
Not really that
questions for
big,
him, but it's
yeah.
yeah. I
All
mean,
right. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing seeing Ted again. I kind of missed movie night last time, so come on, hop
oh
in.
man, it's a shame you missed this thing. Where's the car you left, man? I think that's what it was. It was a good one.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oddly thematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, oddly thematic. Well, let's get it.
Yeah, why don't you hop in? Timor doesn't want to seem to be polite and let anybody sit shotgun, so
Well, he's pretty, so they think they don't mean manners.
she loops around, and as y'all pack into the bed of the truck, you can hear her, you see her looping, around the passenger side. She puts her hand on the little window, the window front. You hear that? You're pretty. And then goes around the front. And gets
Noodles will full on wink.
and Timor, she gets in the car. She gets in the cab, starts it up, and you can hear her laughing.
What's her name again? Marcy?
Megan.
Megan. And spell that with an H. Just because
Yeah.
I want to.
It's spelled with an H.
Nailed it.
I did not spell it with an H. Yeah.
Nope, got it right here. I can be your spell checker. And yeah, it only takes like 5 minutes to actually get there. I mean, it took 15, maybe 20 by horseback. It takes 5 to get there in the truck. And there you are. And she's able to drive you down the whole winding kind of spiral into the bowl there, into the pit. And there's Ted in what for most people would be tacky, but on him, these brown plaid slacks look just excellent. He's wearing a button-down shirt with suspenders, Dick Van Dyke, perfect silver white hair there. And he's got a remote control, a big one. And you can see him manipulating big electronic, mechanized lights, trying to adjust them towards the drive-in screen there in the pit. There's only a couple other vehicles in the pit. And they're both, one of them at least looks completely slagged, so that ain't going anywhere. The other one is questionable at best.
Ted, hey man.
Oh, hey there.
So sorry to bother you, but just wanted to check in before we headed out of town.
It's no bother. Why check in with me now?
Well, part of the reason is we're a little bit worried about the mine. You see, when we had the big battle here, pretty much everyone that was a part of it has some kind of memory loss from it. So we think there might be like some natural gas pockets or something, some kind of dangerous gases there that one of the explosions or something ruptured a line, did something. So thought we'd come and kind of make sure everything's okay, make sure everything's good. And yeah, just, thank you for everything you've done for us and let you know that we're leaving.
Well, that's both concerning and flattering. Memory loss though, huh? Hey, and he leans down to the kobold foreman that's standing next to him with a clipboard and hard hat on. you remember not remembering anything there, fella? And kind of a joking tone. And the kobold just little barking laugh. And then goes back to kind of wanders off. Come with me. Oh, who's your little friend? Oh, and Megan. Megan, it's nice to see you. Stick around for a while. If you want to drink any refreshments or anything like that, one of these fellas or ladies, will be glad to help you. Timor, don't scare any of the younger kobolds with that face of yours, and I don't know, try not to be terrible in any way while you're here. All right, good talk. All right.
Yeah, well, this is Noodles. Noodles is cool.
Noodles.
Yeah.
I do love that name.
I think it's a pretty good name myself.
So
You should meet my siblings. A lot of people like Mac.
Mac.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good name. Strong name. I like that. Noodles, Mac. Yeah. Hey,
Sally is great too. We confuse.
are you? That sounds like you wouldn't happen to be from the Bean, would you?
I am from the Bean. She's going to pull up the sleeve and show off her bean tattoo. There's like a silvery outline of a bean, just right on her arm there. Yeah.
Oh, hey, excellent. That is, well, for one, that is beautiful, crisp line work there on that tattoo. We love to see it. You know what? Any goblin from uptown is welcome in here as long as you're not stealing. But that's the rule for everybody, not just goblins.
Arson than theft.
What was that? Sorry.
I look back and at the guys is wondering if I should repeat it. I said I'm much more likely to commit arson than theft.
Oh, well, that's just fine. My structure is more stone than wood. I'm sure it'll survive.
Well, I mean, I actually really use explosives, so
It'll be cool.
Well, that might be helpful. Let's all come inside. We can have some libations before you leave.
Noodles has never looked so happy in the one day you've known her.
It's been so long.
And of course, now that everything is operating around here, there are actually mine carts and whatnot on those rails. And there's a nice little seated one. Let's hop on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he a lever there, and it just slowly builds up some speed, probably 10 miles an hour, quicker than you guys want to walk at least, or jog. And it takes you on into the mine, past the doors that have either been the shoulder rammed off, or blown up or shot up, that kind of thing, just a month prior. And they all seem to be in perfect working order and reinstalled and shiny and new as can be. I mean, old still, but looking good. Yeah, it took a little bit of doing to spruce the place up, but those fellas and ladies out there were around to help, and teamwork makes the dream work. Am I right?
Gotta say, beautiful. Looks absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. It's all right.
Well, I guess we're here at our stop, which is obvious as it stops right in front of the elevator door. This one was a particularly interesting fix. I'll tell you about it in a moment. And he pulls the elevator door open, gets on near a control box. Come on in.
Hey, what's this?
Okay.
This, my friend, is an elevator. We're going to be going down. See, I like to live prepared. We have a bit of a bunker here.
I can see that. I used to live in a giant statue.
Which is a choice. He closes the cage door on it and throws the lever. The interesting thing is, for those of us who've been around since before the cross rip, such as myself, and on observation, this guy is definitely in his 70s, early 70s. He looks very well preserved, but especially for these rugged times. For those of us like myself who were around since before the cross rip, there were certain grotesqueries that humanity got up to, despoiling their own lands, overusing materials. Things can be repurposed for all sorts of uses. This right here, this mine was decommissioned for decades before I found it, of course, after the cross rip. Well, I turned it into my own little mansion, I suppose you could say. It's where I like to keep all my things. How about you? Doctor, where are you from?
Little tiny town in Indiana, sorry. No one really cares about it. It's a nothing place.
Oh, I'm sure somebody cares about it. But maybe you can tell me about it some other time if you're not so inclined right now. Mr. Beekman, how about yourself?
Oh, me, I've told you about it at least once this last month. I'm from the Murfreesboro area, like generally speaking. Like, I wasn't always. This is Tennessee, I wasn't always from there. Like my family was in the general, like super metropolis area of Murfreesboro, which is not a metropolis, but like we were around. And then they started doing stuff that I didn't think was very good. And I decided to kind of like distance myself. So I moved into Murfreesboro proper. And so that's where I've been most of the last 10 years or so.
A prodigal son of a higher moral fiber. Well, we do appreciate that. We appreciate great moral turpitude. And of course, Ms. Noodles. Ms., is that all right? Is that all right?
Yeah, that'll close enough.
Okay. All right. Well, you just let me know. Ms. Noodles, of course, has just told me. I appreciate your openness. It is refreshing. I don't get very many goblin folk out this way, and I do appreciate the openness and forthrightness of most goblins. It's very nice.
When you have your home landmark tattooed at you shortly after birth, I think it's actually usually part of their naming ceremony. We tend to not learn to hide these things while we live around landmarks.
Quite. Yeah. Learning not to hide things. Well, I guess we can make that the theme of the day, can't we? As the elevator stops and he opens the door, and there's this, it's an unfinished cavern. There are stalagmites and stalactites.
Which is which again?
What?
So there's the pointy downy rocks and the sticky uppy rocks, and I can't remember which is which.
Neither can your GM.
So Lou responds. Lou
Yeah.
responds. Like, all right, I don't know, but my buddy Ted, not my buddy Ted, sorry, my buddy Mickey, fuck that guy, but my buddy Mickey told me that you could remember because stalagmites are on the ground because mites want to walk on the ground because stalactites, it's too tight at the ceiling. Mickey was not
That
the
is
sharpest, but
most
he did,
awkward way I've ever heard that described.
but he did like caves.
Huh. Well, that's an interesting hobby for I'm assuming a human.
As far as I knew, yeah.
Interesting.
Real loose about it, but yeah.
Well, some of y'all are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do find it fascinating that people still find time to make a hobby out of spelunking. Now, you have heard that word before, correct, Mr. Beekman?
Oh, Yeah, it's like with the apple and the barrel.
Cave hiking. Cave
Oh
hiking.
yeah. Dope.
Yeah,
Man,
your
that's a
people
special word.
were at one time rumored to have originated living in caves, at least part-time. Since then, of course, a place like this isn't necessarily fit for human occupation. To wit, come with me. And as you pass between larger, obscuring stalagmites, you find clutter of different objects, technological items, pieces of shiny metal, structural materials, soon vintage appliances, vehicles, suddenly gold bricks, stacks of gold bricks, about a story and a half high.
Pardon me, Mr. Ted.
Go ahead.
I know I said I wouldn't steal, and I intend to hold on to that, sir. But this is all really shiny.
Yes, I like it. I like it that way. The overhead lights, they cast, a pretty harsh light, but it's diffused and reflected in a most pleasing way by all my gold.
Noodles is
Yeah.
still on looking at her reflection in the gold, making funny faces.
Come on, take a look at why don't you take a look at my movie collection? It's just this way. And this path that you're on is now quite wide. He is behind you as he's, just up ahead.
Uh-huh.
And you see, and this is many times, this is a massive cavern, many times the size of what you would think of as a military aircraft hangar. But it's fairly it's well lit from the top. I mean, ish. Those lights, the overheads are still about 150 feet over your head.
How
But-
did you change the light bulb?
Oh, well, why don't you go ahead and take a look through my film library there, and you see you've already approached it. 50-foot long, just rack of shelving, like library style, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS, multiple different visual media there. And the more you look around towards all that, you see that it's almost in an amphitheater style. It's just rows and rows and rows of media, and you can see that some of these shelves hold books.
Huh.
Noodles is going to start browsing for any science books. Or books on explosions. Preferably both.
Luke is
Noah,
trying to find Dude, where's my car?
Noah, what you doing?
I'm mostly just kind of in awe and just looking at everything. Just trying to go through and be like, oh my god, he's got that, he's got that, he's got that. Just kind of, wow, it's a rare copy of whatever. Just going through and just being amazed at everything that is in here.
And Lou, how about yourself?
He's in the DVDs. He's in the DVDs, and he's trying to find Dude, Where's My Car? Because that's the movie that he most recently saw out of the 6 he's seen in his entire life. So that's what he's looking for. None of the rest of it means much to him, except for the size is impressive.
Does anybody want to say it? Does anybody want to say that? That's what she said. Y'all left it hanging there. Okay. And yeah, he notices you, searching for something, obviously. What you looking for?
We just saw that one. You had it in the drive-through last weekend. It was my car is gone, and I need your help finding it, dude. something like that.
Ah, yes, a classic starring two dramatic luminaries of their time. And over your shoulder, just from, the corner of your vision, there's the jewel case, the box, this blue bordered wafer thin box with the art for this film and the title on there.
Art. That's very generous for the cover.
But you notice that it's not a hand holding the case as you actually look at it. It's what appear to be two large, definitely not steel, but the closest thing you can imagine is two giant pickaxes almost tweezing this. And as you turn around, you see Ted there, smiling, a reptilian countenance with massive long antlers and frills of feathers at his neck, on a head about as wide as a city bus.
Oh shit, Ted, you okay? You look rough.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm quite all right. Now I do believe that this is what you forgot, and this is why you forgot. And we can sit down and have a nice little conversation about that. After the break.
Ted.
Noodles is just stuck.
I wrote down in my notes about Ted, total class 5 hoarder.
Are we clear here?
have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, then where did you get the lemur?
I told you it was a gift.
So, look, if I had friends that were just handing out lemurs, hey, we're back. We were just discussing
Not
nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. We last left our friends as they had re-met Ted.
Reckon.
Ted!
Whoa.
Do you know you're a dragon, dude?
Well aware.
It's not just a skin condition.
It's a big skin condition.
I imagine that there are many people out there who wish they could have such a fortunate disfigurements. You were asking how we handle the lighting in here. Let me show you. And he carefully reaches into a box, pulls out a light bulb between two claws. And it is about like this situation right here. Like, you know, he's holding a pea and reaches up and stretches, and it's a big cat stretch upward, but he's able to, at the crux of it, grab the light and delicately, with the two other claws on his hand, unscrew one bulb that was out, throw that. You don't hear it break,
Oh.
is the weird thing. And then and the light comes back on. Now, where were we again?
Wow, you know, that is a really fine motor control. Do you manicure your talons?
Of course I do. I have a belt sander behind that 15th stack over there.
I mean, I guess it'd be rather hard to go and get like a professional manicure. Where would they ever find enough nail polish?
Oh, well, I keep mine shiny by scraping them on the walls. When I'm digging this place out, of course, I plan to add another wing for further collections. It polishes them up quite well. As he lands back on all fours there.
Just a note, please don't eat me.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. You'd barely be an hors d'oeuvre.
I've heard that before.
I imagine.
Ted, I'm beginning to doubt whether I had much to do with the success of saving the town or not.
Oh, you did. I believe it was you and Mr. McCann here, the good doctor, who freed me from my chamber.
I'm hazily remembering blowing up a door.
Oh, that was quite unfortunate. I was attempting to enjoy my morning coffee. I guess it was an evening coffee. I wasn't quite fully together at the time.
Huh.
At any rate, you blew me up in the elevator. I had to replace it. I hope you enjoyed the ride.
It was nice. Sorry about your elevator.
Very smooth.
Very good elevator.
It was perhaps time. But it was Mr. McCann, I believe, who allowed me to even operate that elevator. You see, and he gestures, and light is cast on the cavern walls. You see what those fools did down here. And there are struts, electric pylons all along the wall with little bits of cable hanging. They found me in my slumber on one of my trips out of town. And they built this contraption to keep me trapped down here. Because they knew, of course, if I woke up, which I was bound to do, well, you saw what happened. And at this point, that memory comes flooding back, and you just remember a jet of light sweeping across the remaining gatekeepers and their vehicles, and not immolating, not burning, but this jet of almost white hot magma and sparking slag literally cutting these figures into pieces, and like thermite slicing through these cars.
Oh, Ted, that's gross. Oh, Ted, I remember some gross stuff, Ted.
Well, I'm sorry, but I guess you signed up for it, didn't you? At any rate,
Yeah, I believe.
yes, I could have taken care of them on my own, had I been free to do so. And that's the balance of it, isn't it? You allowed me to, and now I owe you. You did the task.
I mean, cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is cool. Now, I believe that you all have some business. Is it with me? I would prefer not to have to reach into your minds to get the information, so please be forthcoming.
Well, now that I remember, that solves question one. Second thing is we're gonna go help our new friend here retrieve their car, but it's like a little west of here, and we're not sure how far. And we don't have a good mode of transportation besides my skateboard, and I really am the only one that could fit on it. I mean, maybe Noodles could do it with me, but like that'd be a tight fit. I see you have some great classics in here. You got anything running that?
Oh, I assure you, they're all quite operational and will all be staying right here with me.
Cool, very cool. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
But I thought you were going to say when our friends arrive, but we don't have any other friends.
Are you saying I don't have friends?
No.
No. I come on. My two hobbies are religion and explosives. That doesn't tend to make you very popular.
True.
No, I believe it. I believe it's probably quite popular in certain circles, and I respect your moxie. I too enjoy an explosion, immolation, a disaster, a catastrophe on occasion.
And she stands up on her tiptoes. This is actually a more detailed pamphlet.
Ah, yes. Once again. And I mean, the claws are U-sized, basically.
Yeah.
Like, tink.
She'll
And
pause
still-
to inspect the manicure. You know, that is quite nice. Please don't eat me.
Yes, I will. And he gingerly places it on a nice, polished oak desk off to the side. I will definitely be flipping through that pamphlet later.
Insight check.
Go for it.
Yes,
Whoa.
finally. Roll some dice. Roll some dice.
Roll some dice. I changed out that stupid G20 that wasn't giving me above a 3. Let's see. That will actually be that 16 plus 5. So that's a 21.
Nice. He's absolutely telling the truth. He intends to read it at the very latest.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Mr. Do you still want to be called Ted?
Sometimes I go by Fabulon.
That's a good name.
It is, because
I
I'm
would
fabulous.
always go by Fabulon.
Well, you never know. There are rough types out here, and they may take the opportunity to tease a fellow about his name. And while obviously that's no real problem for me, neither emotionally nor physically, I, as you may have noticed, like to keep a low profile most of the time.
I get
And
it.
Fabulon is
Yeah.
not a low profile.
I mean, all my family is named after types of pasta.
True.
Which is perfectly noble.
Thank
Why
you.
wouldn't you? These humans could not appreciate the magic of the noodle.
Right? That's what I've been saying for decades.
I have been
She's going
attempting to.
without thinking, she's going to hold up her fist to give a fist bump.
And gingerly reaches down. You do tip over, but you can tell it wasn't intentional. Yes. I've been attempting to piece together for these long years how it was the humans had so besmirched their world, what folly had befallen them, and I have come to the conclusion that it was a lack of appreciation for the finer things. They had all they needed, all they wanted. Look at all of this. This is fine art. Yes, even your favorite Lou. Do you have any idea how many people were involved in the creation of such a thing? How many hours, weeks, months of effort it took? Years of refining the craft? It is, in its own way, magic, and it was its only kind of magic that you had before we came.
Do any of you have papers? I just have a great idea.
You, second drawer down, same oak desk.
So I'm just wondering then, Ted, we need any kind of a boon you could grant us, because we're going to be facing up more against more of those douchebags.
Ah, the gatekeepers.
You know, those old
Probably,
fantasy
yeah.
Nazis.
Are those the guys with the skulls on the
Yeah.
The unfortunate
jerks?
turds that have been rolling across this great and beautiful land for this past bit of time.
You and Noodles have something in common. Same nemesis, really.
Ah, yes. Well, I think you can tell I'm quite comfortable here at home, and I do have much business to attend to for the people of this town, my town. I don't appreciate that they called it Theodore, but it was a nice enough gesture.
When you're that popular, Ted, what are you gonna do?
I am a big deal.
They should rename it to Fabula City.
No, I don't think we'll be doing that anytime soon.
Okay.
Not unless the balance of things changes. You see, while I am great and fabulous and quite powerful, nearly infinitely so, I'm not invincible. And I do like my leisure time. So I don't think I'll be picking any fights or making myself known far and wide anytime soon. And as for boons, well, I have much reading to do still. You see, magic isn't simply something that happens, that you can just pick out of the air and give to somebody else, even though, yes, in fact, it is. Once you know the magic. I don't know that magic, unfortunately, and I have quite a vast library to read through before I can find it. Unfortunately, all of the books that might pertain to something like that come from elsewhere. My little walkabouts as Ted have essentially been to procure those goods. If you can find me information that would lead to me being able to grant a boon to you, I would gladly do so. A dragon keeps his word, unless he doesn't, of course.
All right. Okay,
Now,
cool.
to the business of the unfortunate souls that you're tracking, and I assume that once you find them, they will become quite unfortunate.
Probably.
I like grenades.
Where were the last whereabouts, Ms. Noodles?
Noodles describes where she saw them, which I unfortunately didn't write down.
And then last session, you did say they headed to the west.
West.
Well,
That way.
the gatekeepers themselves as an organization do originate quite a bit to the west. As far as Colorado, as a matter of fact. out of a.
Gate are they keeping?
It's a figurative gate. It's. They are chuds, ma'am. They are using chud language. It's a phrase from before this world moved on. They're keeping the gates of whatever it is they think they're entitled to, and you've seen the lack of chin. They're not that much entitled to anything.
They stole my car.
Well, they're thieves, and they're fools. And as I was saying, they originate from out west in Colorado. And the travel here is quite rugged. And not only that, but they should have been mocked and intercepted, intervened with by either the people of Emancipation or the Cahokia Alliance. I'm amazed that they were able to make it this far without being essentially flattened by these actually fine individuals.
Well, maybe there's something wrong with them.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Well, maybe they have. Maybe they think there's some kind of power they can find out this way.
Oh, I'm sure that is what they believe, and for a brief period of time they did, in fact. You put most of a stop to that, and of course I chased off their mercenary. However, to my reckoning, those two nations, neighbors as they are and allied, would gladly snuff out your thieving acquaintances should they come across them. I imagine that they haven't made it much farther west than the swamps. If they have gone alight anywhere, it's likely in one of the smaller towns in the swamps, at the edges, shortly south, in fact, of Emancipation.
Mm.
Yes, I imagine that the Green Seas, where they've made a temporary home, a staging ground, if you will.
We'll have to do something about that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, while I will not be lending you either of my beautiful vehicles here or any of the others in my garage, I do have something that I do not plan on needing. And given that your foes are likely to be surrounded by water, I've got a fan boat for you. That should take you across the Green Sea just fine.
Cool.
That
Very
sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
It's a boat with a fan on the back.
So I suppose, geez, does it come with a trailer? And does that trailer come attached to a vehicle?
Oh, I have a trailer for you, but no, you can keep pressing all you want. I will not be lending you one of my cars. However,
I just worry about whether or not we can use a fan boat from here if we can't get it to the water.
I assure you that by the time you reach the surface and meet back up with Megan and even dear Timor, they will be quite willing to take you at least as far as the shores and perhaps even join you on your journey.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am popular here, but that is purely through the fact that I like many of these people. I enjoy being around humans. You have much to teach me, and you create so much. Your stories, your mysteries, your art.
Yeah,
love
watch
it.
this.
Simply breathtaking. Humor, cornerstone. No, I spent time as a human simply to enjoy the form, dulling down my senses so far that it can be packed into such a tiny meat sack brings me an immense level of perspective on this world. Oh, yes, you, the tiny one in the middle.
Yeah, have you ever tried goblin form? If you want tiny.
I might not be able to handle the sensory input. I can, well, can you smell colors?
I think so. Something smells purple around here.
I assure you it is not purple. That is a no. And I can. And if you can't, and you're that small, it might be a rough time, but I will work on it.
But
This is just my favorite.
But look at what I can do. And she will just da 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 with her,
With
her long
her
ears.
ears.
Yeah, they wiggle independently. It's pretty. I mean,
The crocodilian eyes kind of, as you're doing that. Almost magical. At any rate, I will not be, I assure you, and I sense a measure of nervousness to some of you, that I have not been using my greater abilities to control these people. I simply attempt to be a good citizen. I will make an exception in this case, though, to compel Megan, at the very least, to take you that far. You may consider actually compensating her for her effort, though. As a matter of fact, I insist that you do.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
One more question.
Yeah, sorry. One more question. Why did you make people forget? And are we going to forget? I mean, if you're not going to make us forget now, then why did you make them forget before? Sorry. Not questioning your method, just kind of curious. Sorry.
Well, I knew that these two and their compatriots would have to recover from their battle, from the turmoil. I knew that they would be excellent in assisting my people in town. I knew they would be lingering. Now, the people in town don't know about this glorious form, and I would like to keep it that way for another 50 years, or as long as possible. You see, eventually Ted will have to die, and I will have to move on. But I couldn't have loose lips sinking this particular ship. You're leaving now. You may return. But we now have had time to discuss this dynamic, and I trust you will keep my little secret to yourselves.
Marshall's honor, bro.
Ah, Marshall's honor. Good as gold. You'd better hope.
She'll show off her being.
Aha, yes. Excellent, excellent. Now, let us return to the surface. I need to adjust my projectors.
Yeah, sorry we interrupted you.
Oh, that's just fine. It's been a nice little break. Would you like a julep before we leave?
Oh, it's pretty
It's
early
like
for a
9 in
julep.
the morning.
I mean, as a dragon, I'm sure it's cool, but like we got a lot of road to travel.
Yes, fair enough, fair enough. Well, let us go then. He returns, he slowly just, and it's not a shrink. There were no torn clothes when he grew into his dragon form. He simply shape shifts down into this form. And you can feel a draft of air kind of going to fill in where, the space that he was just taking up. And then, all right, well, hop on the elevator.
Climbing.
You have to get in the elevator.
What's that? Say again. Am I
Noah?
muted?
for getting on the elevator?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Noodles is gonna surreptitiously like move her hand behind his back to make sure like there's no extra mass hanging out. Mm-hmm.
I promise there's nothing back there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
Oh, it's not rude. You've just witnessed space-time being folded around an individual. I'm amazed you haven't started bleeding from your nose and ears. I'm very proud of the three of you, to be perfectly honest. You've seen this twice.
Thanks.
I have a lot of questions, but you know.
Well, I believe I've answered enough questions for today. If you shall return, perhaps I will have more time. Well, of course, I will have much time. But perhaps I will feel like spending it that way.
Fair enough.
Can
We got to find this car,
have an
though.
autograph?
Oh, we'll see if Megan or Timor have a paper and pen.
I have that one I borrowed from you earlier. It shows up, and you see it just says Goblin Movie Studio in rough letters on one side.
Oh, yes, naturally. Mr. McCann, your back, please.
Yeah.
Whoosh. Whips that around. Hands it to you.
Thank you so much. I will treasure it forever.
Now,
Now,
does it
don't-
say Ted or does it say Fabulosa?
Fabulon?
Fabulon.
It says Fabulous Ted.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I will keep it with my grenades.
Oh, that's a good place for it. Just make sure you secure those pins. Ah, yes. Megan, Mr. Timor. I see my assistants here have helped you rig up this boat. I trust you will be glad to take our friends here at least as far as the Green Sea for reasonable compensation, of course. And Megan is just like, oh, sure, yeah, they don't really have much to do. Like, I've just been kicking around anyway. And I need the money. And Timor is just like, kind of, whatever.
Don't get too excited, Timor. It's going to be a long road trip. You got to save it for the end.
Whatever you say, man. Meg hops back in the truck, starts it up. Timor throws a cigarette on the ground, stomps it out, gets back up into the truck, boom, boom, on the side of it. Gestures y'all into the bed.
Does up her seatbelt.
I'm riding in the fan boat.
You're riding in the fan boat? It's
Yeah.
like tipped up like that, but okay.
Yeah, we're living in a world where there are no highway patrol officers to stop me from riding in the trailer with a fan boat on it, and I will
Actually,
not.
Judith will unbuckle herself and go over because she wants to talk about this, but she really recognizes she can't do it in front of the other humans.
I
No,
will
it's-
just be in the bed of the truck.
All right. And and the foreman, strolls over and with his, his clipboard and hands the controller, the big controller console back to Ted. And Ted, happy trails now, and you stay safe out there.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Ted.
Ted.
The kobold and the truck spirals back up the hill.
That was pretty crazy. I forgot about Ted. I did forget about Ted. That was crazy.
You know, so you say, oh my God, what? I can't tell anyone.
No, you can't. Also, who would you tell? You really only know us.
What do you think we'd have to change in the world so he can tell everybody to be safe? And then I could go for a ride on him, and we could fly, and I would be the most best, coolest goblin ever.
It might be pretty ambitious, but very cool. I like the way you're thinking. That'll.
All right. So y'all basically, it seems like Megan knows where y'all are headed. Basically, I mean, there's kind of one road out of town or away from here, and it's a nice big wide freeway as you've encountered before. It's bumpier. Now, to explain exactly what the Green Sea is, it's an inland sea. It's essentially a swamp sea that's filled in from the Gulf over time. This started happening prior to the cataclysm, to the cross rip, and has more or less finished. The weather patterns as they are now are kind of the end stage of the warming consequences. And there have been rumors out there that somebody or some group or collection, whether they're associated or not with each other, have done work to try to control and roll back some of the weather problems. But one way or the other, the world has definitely changed. And right now there's an inland sea over like chunk of Texas, part of Illinois, that kind of thing, right there, kind of in the center of the Midwest. And that's where you're headed. You could take any number of routes that branch off north or south, but you're going to hit the water eventually. In this case, you're going a little northwest. And it only would take about 3 hours if you could really go, if Megan could really put the pedal to the metal. But the road does get significantly bumpier and less maintained and more broken up as you go. And foliage and forest gets thicker as time goes on. At first, there's fields, tall grass mainly to your left and right. But then as you head west, there's more and more trees, and eventually turns into thinner forest. And you do start to realize you can smell water. You can smell the moisture and humidity, the fetidness of the ground around you, and the road becomes muddy. The thin sheen coat of mud as you go. And then the truck moving at speed really starts to kind of get a little less, starts to be a little less steady and, maintaining a straight line as it's dealing with the bumps in the road. It's also sliding a little bit because of the mud, and the ride slows down some. Did anybody want to discuss anything while you're traveling?
He was so cool.
Was very cool. He was. Hey, Noodles, I know that I'm gonna hold on to like my frag grenade and my Molotov cocktails, but I've got a couple of triggers here that might serve you that I'm not going to use anymore. Would you like? Can I hand them to you?
Absolutely. I would really love those. I don't have the explosives to go with them yet, but
we'll find something along the way. I'm sure of it.
Oh, I make a point of it. So
I hand you a whole like sack. What?
I'm sorry.
I hand you a whole sack of fish.
She will shove them in her little backpack. They supposed fill up her backpack. Can't wait to get my car back. Some of my best stuff was in it.
Oh, is that where your bombs
can't even fit inside. No offense, humans.
None taken.
Now, Noah, this is it's a pickup truck. You in real life have seen plenty of pickup trucks. It's got the nice sliding window on that little back windshield.
Yeah.
So you do have access to humans to speak to through there.
Yeah, at some point I'll get fairly bored and slide that open. So, what are you guys up to?
Timor turns. road trip.
Road trip. Cool. But like just kind of in general, like what's your thing? What do you like? What do you hate?
Timur at what do you hate? Timur starts to speak, and Megan on the shoulder while she's driving. Well, this is kind of an extension of my usual gig. When somebody needs to travel out of town, doesn't have their own vehicle, sometimes I give them a ride. Look, a lot of people around town just kind of do whatever, make some money occasionally. It's not really important. Not necessarily important what you do, or at least on a regular basis. And the money itself isn't all that important either. We have most of what we need around town, to be perfectly honest. But since y'all did help out so much, and I guess you're paying us, you better pay us. Make a job out of this. Timur here, he hates being polite. Doesn't really much like being around people or groups of people. But, he's handy with his knuckles and a gun, so.
Yeah, I've known a few people like that before. They're
Definitely
helpful to have around sometimes.
Yeah, muscle is what we call them.
Most of the rest of the time. But yeah, definitely very useful a lot of the time.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to be able to. I mean, I imagine you can take care of yourself, or you wouldn't have been thinking about coming all the way out here anyway.
Well, yeah, it's kind of been proven in the past for the most part. We're good at, usually, I don't know, though.
Kind of a stretch of silence there, and then Timur, oh, hey, let me show you something. He unbuttons his shirt, pulls it open, and there's this just horrific, jagged old scar there. It's like, hey, so from the look of this, do you think it was probably infected?
Yeah, probably.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, I thought it was just, so they called it a sucking chest wound, and I figured it had something to do with that. I mean, it sucked, so.
Yeah.
What's it mean, man? So the scarring has to do with the infection. What's the sucking aside from the fact that it sucked?
Yeah, that means you're probably like. Okay, so I'm not like actually a doctor in real life, so something about the lungs.
So you explain it to him, and I can explain it to you. That's the kind that where you need the little weird valve once you've closed it up, so that it doesn't pull air in.
And lung did something with the wound and
and he's like, oh wow, that's why.
Yeah, you could have died real easy.
Oh yeah, that I know. Yeah, it was it's a pretty big bullet, but I'm here now, so a little sore. Otherwise, I'm fine. You read much?
Yeah, all the time, whenever I can.
Who's your favorite?
Well, I don't know. I always usually just try to read about medicine and stuff, but if I'm just reading for fun, probably Vonnegut.
Oh, nerd shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm into Elmore Leonard.
No, that's good. That's
man, and I used to just.
It's good.
I used to just tear through Clancy when I was a kid. Huh.
Yeah. Clancy's good. They're kind of samey, but yeah, that's good.
You saying they're samey?
Well, like each book is kind of pretty similar, You
and you can see that he's like gesturing and doing this kind of thing as he's talking. Well, he's talking to Megan, and she's just sitting there. You can see her shoulders heaving as she's just like belly laughing in the front seat. And after a while, the vehicle, you're going like 5 miles an hour. And after about 45 minutes of that and winding through these woods, as water actually, you can see water standing out in the woods next to the road. You wind through a path, a series of turns, and pull up to I don't want to call it a town, and I don't want to call it a village, but we can go with that. And it's right there on the water. It's a series of, swamp houses, basically. They look like they probably were boat houses at one point in time on a legit actual lake, elevated off the ground, that sort of thing. And there are some people milling around. They, just going about their daily lives. The truck, the ground actually kind of evens out there to a certain degree, even though it's now mostly like river rock or lake rock, but river rock, ballast, and the truck can actually pull up to the water here, and you see out onto it. It's basically like a lake. There are actually trees growing up through the water, as this is probably real shallow, pretty far out, since this isn't necessarily a natural body of water, or it is technically a natural body of water, but this is not where it lived, until just now. It's floodwater. And it's pretty enough, but it's nothing like back at the cabin, at John and Maggie's cabin. There's a certain air of menace, might be too strong, but danger about when you look out at this water, though there's nothing really apparent except for a rack of alligators hanging from hooks outside of one of the structures there. And an individual walks towards the truck. Once it's settled and, parked, it's reversed, and the boat is now closest to the water. Megan gets out, and she and Timur are working with the trailer. An individual, a guy, walks up from the structure where the gators were. I said gators, right? Yeah. New around here.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. I mean, new, but like just.
I think we're kind of like passing through.
Yeah, that suggests we're staying. We ain't staying.
Yeah.
Tourists here to fish.
You're to blow up tools.
Well, I only ask because it looks like you brought bait.
She looks around, trying to find out what she could be talking about. No, I didn't.
All right. Well, I guess those gators are going to stay hungry. If you're going out there and you're not going to hire any of us, any people around here as guides, then I guess I got a handful of tips for you. Don't go in the water on purpose, especially not in the trees. If you don't have anything bigger than, say, a 9mm, just try to run away from the crocs and the gators. And keep an eye out for the skunk ape.
Yeah, fair enough.
The what now?
Skunk ape.
Skunk ape. You've seen a skunk ape, right?
What's a skunk
That's
ape?
kind of what you smell like.
It's an ape that stinks. It's big. But swamps, nah. So it used to be like a pretend thing that people said was real, and they'd pretend, and they try to make money off of like making people believe it. And then it was real. And then there was a few of them. And but that was over in Florida, which is mostly not there anymore. But now it's here too.
They migrated.
Yeah. I guess when you smell that bad, you go wherever you want.
Right.
Not to a
Miss Megan, how much would be fair for the ride?
Well, and this is a completely separate person, obviously. I really don't like taking money from tiny people.
I am a full-grown adult, and
I'll pull out some cash. All right, how much?
Well, let's see here. I guess it'll be 50 for the time. Now that's a discount.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna say 200 for the fuel.
How much for you to keep riding with us?
Well, I guess we could make an hourly agreement. This was 4 hours, $50.
I give her 250.
Here. Why don't you? Why don't
we can entirely afford that, Lou, to keep her on full time?
Do any of you guys know how to run a fan boat?
Would you
We'll probably
turn-
figure it out.
yeah.
No, actually, hell yeah. I can drive anything.
we should race sometime once I get my car back.
Oh, we'll race.
Well, that's neat. I guess you can go ahead and do that. Now, do any of you have anything on you? Like maybe M16, M4, AK, AA-12, rocket propelled grenade launcher, and you can see Timor's going through his bag where he indeed has a couple of the things that she's mentioning here.
Yeah, no, we don't have those necessarily.
It's not really my thing. I put people back together, not blow them up.
I've got Heather, which is my revolver. And
Timor with his accent that I forgot. Oh, Heather, very nice. Meet Wanda. And it's a nice little pump action 10 gauge there.
oh, they're in love. And
You'll hold up her
And then they
little
kiss.
one-handed grenade launcher, and then she just keeps pulling grenades out of you're not quite sure where and making a little pile.
it's good.
It's pretty nice. On the other hand, if you don't want to lose your fingers, but you have something to deal with out there, you might want to have a little bit of help with you. Now, you gave Meg the 250. Obviously, you're not paying me right now. So I'm going to go with you, and you're going to give me some money when we're done. I'm going to keep you alive because you put people back together, you blow things up, and I don't know how you manage that without blowing yourself up, and you're going to be driving.
I do sick flips. Hey, as a down payment, take these. And I toss him my 5 copper pucks worth $500.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming with you.
Great. Now those are finally out of my fucking inventory. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with these things? I'm sure there would be an opportunity, but that's the time. Cool. Well, hey, not to say that we're like money bags or whatever, but, and I turn to the guy that greeted us, who is probably still standing there dumbfounded at the amount of money being passed back and forth and the guns. Like, hey, you said something about someone being able to guide us, you or someone other local?
Yeah, I could do it.
The name's Lou.
Isaac.
Nice to meet you, man.
That's not my
Yeah.
real name.
I don't give a shit.
You should probably learn to give a shit. I don't know how you live this long giving out your real name.
You think that's my real name?
Hey, listen, if it isn't, I don't want to know it, all right? That's a little trust between you and me. Before you pay me, that's a tip to you.
Perfect. We don't have to pay this guy. Let's get going.
Nice. All right. Well, let me get some gear. He goes back to the house. He goes into the structure. Comes out. He's got a gun. It's just a rifle, kind of a big hunting rifle, and a chainsaw. All right, everybody, don't get too excited. This is for the branches.
Noodles visibly swamped.
Well, hey, Isaac, we're looking for a vehicle, an odd one that may have come through here by some gatekeeper types.
And he's pushing the boat off the shore, basically. Megan's leaned up against the truck. She's helped Noodles up onto the boat, and she's waiting to watch you off. And yeah, he's talking over his shoulder. Gatekeepers, huh? Well, they suck. And they're conspicuous, but I haven't had any come through here that I've seen. Now, of course, there's 12 hours a night, so maybe they did it then, minded their own business, but they are dildos, so I doubt they could stop through a town without getting drunk and ruining everything.
Have you seen something that looks like a really big ball?
Honey, I've seen a couple of things that look like really big balls, and that's why I'm out here with you.
Hilarious.
You need
No, I'm serious, though. The fact is, where are we going, first of all?
that way?
South?
We're going south?
West?
No,
So
we're
not
trying.
west.
We're heading west generally. We're looking for this group of gatekeepers that stole our friend's car.
All right, well, so we got a few dozen miles through the swamps to go before we get to an actual town. Now, that I imagine would be the correct place to be looking for these guys because they're coming out of weird-ass Colorado. They're headed this way. I mean, come on, y'all. If they're trying to lay low, if they've stolen something, you got Cahokia right there. They would absolutely mulch these guys on sight if they ran into them. I mean, what are we talking about? A small army of dudes or just a few gatekeeping rednecks?
Do I know the answer to that, DM?
It's true. But you know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, there were about
Invented.
All right. So you have no idea. You had your okay. All right. So
Well, if history tells it,
and there was a bet, and I was trying to convert them, and they were assholes, and then they knocked me out, and they towed my car.
okay. All right. So we're gonna pretend for just a moment that you could have taken out a handful, 5 or 6 of them. You're carrying explosives, so I doubt they're gonna mess around with a goblin with a bunch of explosives if there's only like 2 or 3 of them. So I'm guessing there's kind of a big group. That sort of thing, you're not going to be able to lay low just out in the middle of the swamps. First of all, there's enough for you to make enough noise to attract gators. Okay, you got guns, just like me, just like your friend here. You got guns, you got gators. You kill the gators, you make more noise. More gators come, you kill them. Oh, now it's other animals. You got cougars. Oh shit, it's a Spinosaurus. You heard you're killing the crocodiles and the cougars. You got a Spinosaurus. Now, do you have a rocket launcher? Oh, good, you got a rocket launcher. You blow up the Spinosaurus. Now, the Spinosaurus is dead. The cougar's dead. The crocodiles are dead. There's something eating all of that right around you. And oh, guess what? It's the skunk ape. He's coming for you. He doesn't like the noise. He's just trying to chill out, and he's going to rip your arms off. So instead of doing all that, you go to a town. You lay low, And of course, for gatekeepers, laying low is partying and being pains in the ass and intimidating everybody around you. But bad news for you guys and me. A lot of people around here are into that kind of life. So we're going to go northwest. We're going to go to the next town up there. We're going to see what's up. You guys, in fact, are the ones who are going to see what's up. I'm staying in the boat because I want to go back home.
Hey,
You find out what's up. You get your car. You kick the ass. Hopefully you don't blow up the whole town. Or you do. I don't care. Nobody's seen my face. You get your car. You go back. You pay the nice lady. You go back from whence you came. Everything's fine.
that's usually how our adventures go. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
we're very organized people.
Yes, I can tell, and I hope your level of organization doesn't cost me a literal arm and a leg out here around these alligators. You will be paying me. And Timor is kind of like smoking a cigarette, just kind of sneering at this guy. You talk too much. Yeah, well, I talk like somebody who doesn't, want to end up a bowel movement in the middle of a swamp.
Hey, cheaper trip though for us. So
You did volunteer.
Timor. Oh, so it's all about you. Okay. I see how it is. Timor.
hey, Timor, you've been paid, bro.
I haven't been paid yet.
We haven't
And if-
paid Timur yet.
I gave him
Oh,
$500 worth of copper pucks.
excuse me. Yes, you've paid me material goods just now. But if this guy ends up bowel movement, I'm going to need more money.
What?
Why? Why do you care about this guy?
You don't even know Isaac.
It's not that I care
I know
about him. It's that I'm probably going to have to kill whatever, ate his face.
I mean,
We're
if I
gonna
don't
have to
get
kill a
hurt,
lot of things. If we don't get to kill something on this trip, Timor, I don't even know why we came.
I thought it was about her car.
By the way,
Oh yeah, that's right.
here, you two guys should take these.
What am I looking at here?
It is a pamphlet.
Oh, is this a religious thing?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool religion. You might like it. It's all about explosions.
Are there hookers?
I mean, not in the theology, but we're not opposed.
Oh, well, okay. I was raised Catholic. Sorry about that. Timor's just like, yeah, explosion. I like it. All right. So I'm sorry you guys didn't get to blow up anybody tonight. This is Hooper. But it is that time. It's time for Lou to turn into a pumpkin
Fucking.
over in his region. And time for Noah to, I don't know, enjoy a cocktail. And the rest of us are probably going to jitter into the wee hours of the morning. But that's the end of our episode tonight. You've met a cavalcade of NPCs today, and hopefully next week some of those will stick with you. We will be picking up right here where we left off in the middle of the swamp or the edges of the swamp. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a good night.